Good afternoon. My name is State Senator Dave Osmek. I represent the 33rd District, which encompasses most of western Hennepin County, a portion of Chanhassen, and the Lake Minnetonka area. Early today, I issued a letter to Governor Mark Dayton's office as a result of Legislative Auditor Jim Nobles' January 16th audit of the Governor's office. As many of you know, the report detailed 2 instances of non-compliance which occurred in the first 30 months of the Dayton administration. Taken separately, perhaps, these incidents can be seen as mistakes or internal control weaknesses, but together they paint a disturbing pattern that shows the Governor's office hiding information, rewriting contracts, subverting requests made under Minnesota's Data Practices Act, and misleading taxpayers on where their money is really being spent. And perhaps even worse, nobody is being held accountable. Nobody is being held responsible. There is nobody being put on administrative leave. There's nobody being fired.
It sounds like you're somehow connecting this with him being appointed to the Supreme Court. Are you?
I don't think I'm connecting the two. What I'm saying is, don't you think that there's at least some question, or doesn't that create the perception in at least the public's mind that in June he was doing pro bono work? They specifically said, and it's still there, without cost to the state. And suddenly, a $77,000 payment comes in after everything is done. And then, we don't find out about this until Jim Nobles comes through with his audit and shows it to the public. This is still, as far as the Governor's office is concerned, still a secret payment. Because they've never actually come out until that report came out. They had to that's when light was actually shined upon this. The issue isn't whether he should be on the Supreme Court or not. Frankly, I think he's probably a good jurist. But the simple fact of the matter is it creates the perception in the public's mind of why is he getting paid all this money for what he said was free services, and now all of a sudden he's getting money for it.
So are you specifically asking him to discipline somebody?
Yes. There has to be some repercussions for, obviously, well, first off, I mean, look at the travel forms. I mean, this is a data practices request. You don't have squishiness or room to wiggle around the truth. So they delete the information. So then they ask for a correction. They delete the information again. So then they ask for more information. You know, it's ridiculous. The public should say, what is this? Why can't we have the information? And they should be outright, they should be very disappointed in the actions of the Governor's office. Taken separately, maybe you say, well, maybe it's just a mistake. And the report, actually in the OLA report, it says, sorry, we made a mistake. Well, how many mistakes do you get? And by the way, when you make mistakes like that, again, out in New Jersey, people are held accountable. In Minnesota, oops, we did it again.
Who should be disciplined?
Well, I think I'll leave that to the Governor's office, but I'll start by saying, you know, we've got Dana Bailey signing off on a form that included an obvious campaign person on a government flight that's paid by the taxpayers of Minnesota. Should Dana Bailey not have some level of repercussion or responsibility for signing the form?
And do you know for a fact she hasn't been disciplined?
If she has been disciplined, then maybe the Governor should have said something about that in the last week or so since this has come to light. Or if maybe the Governor should have said something about this long ago. You know, going back to this one, MMB report. There's no definition of $77,000 or David Lillehaug's name inside of this document. Who didn't tell Jim Showalter about that? Isn't it the Governor's responsibility and the Governor's office responsibility to present information when requested for it by his own staff people? Or do we hold Jim responsible for it? The bottom line is, why are we talking about, why do we have a $77,000 purchase or a payment like this for pro bono services that all of a sudden 2.5 years later now we find out about? It's just a pattern of deception, and it's time to hold people accountable, and that's why I'm here. I mean, like I said, I have responsibility to my constituents. My constituents want to make sure that their money is being spent properly. Why did pro bono work that was free turn into $77,000? And then we don't find out about it. But the bottom line is you know, I don't think we need a room full of people to understand that there's deception going on and there's an obvious cover-up of what we need the truth. That's what the point is here. And more than just, oops, we did it, we need an answer, and we need accountability by the governor's office.